Well, a very happy Monday, everyone. Well, the cold continues. I bring in Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warriner. Jamie, if you don't have good news about when this cold snap ends, we're going to have to kick you out of here.
Oh, you know what's going on with the weather, so you know I don't have good news. I mean, I have, I guess, better news in that we're further in than we were a day ago, right?
Well, there's that.
and there is at least an intermission coming.
Okay, well, we'll take that. I mean, that's better than it could be. It does look cold in Springfield right now, but really, snowfall was less than impressive here, but not the case in all areas.
Yeah, I mean, this was, a fairly significant snowstorm, especially once you got south of the state line. Northern Arkansas, south into central Arkansas. We got some decent totals. And just kind of going through the numbers here, Little Rock, I think, has seen 3 inches of snow. Nashville, 6 inches of snow. Memphis, 5 inches of snow.
Wow.
And especially for places like Memphis, I mean, 5 inches, that's a big snowstorm.
Yeah.
For Southwest Tennessee. Locally for us, I think the biggest number in our area that I could find was southeast of Flippin, 7.5 inches of snow reported.
And that's a lot. And that has a lot to do with elevation here as well.
Yeah. And north of the state line, I mean, we had some, close to the state line, we had 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. And there were a few places that saw a bit more than that. Goodman, Missouri reported a total of 4 inches of snowfall.
Which is very close to the state line. I want to show everyone the iDrive Arkansas map, the entire state of Arkansas showing snow-covered or ice-covered or slushy roads. So they have gotten hit, and their infrastructure, especially in the southern part of the state, not quite as robust as what ours would be in the northern part of Arkansas or here in the Ozarks. So.
Yeah, and to your point there about the roads, I mean, a lot of that is snow. I mean, now once you get into southern Arkansas, it's been a wintry mix, but a lot of what you see from, say, Pine Bluff, Hot Springs, and north, I mean, that's just snow, and it's kind of interesting to have such a widespread snow event across the state of Arkansas and across the Deep South.
Yeah, and here in Southwest Missouri, I mean, we're showing mostly clear roads. I know coming into work, I came in this morning, those side roads weren't as great. It was a little bit more treacherous, but the main road seemed to be okay. How did it look out there for you?
It's kind of the same. I mean, it definitely, we talked about this yesterday. Temperatures are still so cold that the road salt's really not doing very much.
Not
I mean,
much
at least in a few patches. I think that in combination with its daytime, and even though we're not seeing much sunshine, it's still working on those roads. We are seeing some areas where it's a little slushy or even wet. Keep in mind that those areas, I mean, as soon as temperatures, and they'll drop a bit as we head into the evening hours, but as soon as we lose daylight, I think we're going to see those areas refreeze pretty quickly.
Okay, so we're at 7 degrees right now.
Yeah.
And is that warmer than we got to yesterday?
It is warmer than yesterday. Yesterday was 0. That was a record low high for January the 14th. And on that note, too, yesterday, I mean, just brutal across the area. In Joplin, it was 1 degree yesterday for the high. That was the coldest January high on record. In Rolla Vichy, it was -1 yesterday.
For their high.
And that was their coldest January high on record. Here in Springfield, that high of 0 degrees, that was the 5th coldest high on record, just period. The coldest being -6 back in 1899.
1890. That's going way back.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a little bit more snow. Oh, wind chills, of course, it feels cooler out there. It feels like -5, so if you don't have to be out, it is one of those times where you can just stay put.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we've had all weekend. I mean, if you could stay indoors, it's best to stay indoors. I mean, I was out earlier this morning trying to get wood into the house just for fire. And I mean, it's you don't have to be outside very long, or even if you're dressed in layers, I mean, you're still going to feel some of that cold seeping in around, the edges.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't take long for that to happen.
Yes, we've talked about that snow moving through parts of Arkansas, and you can see that heavier snow even into like Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you that map just so, I mean, you can see how far south this winter weather event, this winter storm, extends. And if you've got travel plans, business or whatever, to the south across Arkansas into Tennessee into Mississippi, I mean, keep in mind they don't have the same capabilities to deal with this that we have here north of the state line here in Missouri. So especially further south, I mean, you're kind of on your own. They don't have the plows. They don't have much in the way of material that they can put down to help out, even on bridges. So, travel down to the south, especially Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, northern Alabama. That's going to be real tough and tough, and it would be best to maybe wait a few days for temperatures to come up.
That's good advice. And I did look at the Springfield Branson National Airport, and there are quite a few delays, so keep that in mind. Here at home, we have a chance for another round of a little snow. Probably not going to add up to much.
No, not much. You can see that next round of snow coming in out of Kansas. That's really going to focus closer to central Missouri.
Okay.
So, if we go to the next map, we can show the totals that we're going to see out of that round of light snow. Not much. I mean, we're talking about maybe a half an inch or less up in places like, Hermitage, Camdenton, Rolla, Stockton might see a quarter to a half an inch. And then here in the Springfield area, we're probably going to get some flurries, maybe a dusting, but that's going to be the worst of it.
Okay, so we're really not going to be hit with much.
No.
Disappointing week for those snow lovers, but
I mean, especially we issue forecasts, but I mean, if we see the data that's coming in, we see the data that's coming in from the models every day, and I mean, a lot of times too, when you have such a cold event, and to see what the model guidance was forecasting with multiple storms, I mean, it's disappointing that. Here, like for example, in Springfield, out of the last week, I think we've picked up a total of 1.5 inches of snowfall. I mean, and
not a lot.
So maybe also this is a good time to say for those of you that look at the models and this model says this, you got to keep in mind, take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You got to kind of take in all of the data. You got to look at it. Does it make sense? Does it make sense with the pattern? And does it make sense with the past? I mean, we talk about analogs.
Yeah.
Going into this period, when it was late December, going into this period, it looked like maybe there would be certainly more snow than we've gotten out of it.
Well, you called the cold for sure.
Yeah, and we've had some snow. We just have not had. We've not certainly had anywhere near the amounts that we could have gotten out of this pattern. And
we've still got time, though.
Oh, we got plenty of time. It's just, I think with this cold wave, even though we do have some more coming late this week, looks like we're not going to see too much.
Okay. Forecast overnight will drop a little bit, -3.
Yeah, it looks like we're going back below zero. That'll make it 3 straight days where we had lows below zero. And looking at that stat, I think that
can't happen often. I was trying to think back.
That's the 13th longest run of below 0 degree lows here in Springfield.
Okay.
The longest run, consecutive days where we had lows below 0 degrees. The longest was 6, last done in 1983 December.
Okay, 1983 was a historic cold snap that we did have. I think, did it tie with 2021?
I think.
Came
well,
close.
you and I were talking earlier. I think that one had a stretch of, I want to say
maybe
it was either 3 or 4. It may have been one more day. But this cold snap is in some ways similar to that February 21 event that we had.
We're going to get a little 2-day warm up though. A little 2-day reprieve.
we got better weather. Hey, and it starts tomorrow. You can see the highs tomorrow. It looks like we're in the generally mid to upper teens for highs.
Yeah.
We've still got wind chills. Looks
cold.
like wind chills in the single digits.
Yeah.
As we look a little further, though, down the road, and we look at the middle of the week, we see Wednesday is our day to get above the freezing mark.
Okay.
That'll be the first in 5 days. Looks like about 35. I think we get above freezing again on Thursday, but we've got another cold front moving through. Oftentimes you get these surges of cold air. There's probably going to be a little wintry precipitation with it. We'll see how that pans out. I don't expect much. Friday, back to near 20 degrees for the high, 20s for highs on Saturday. And then it looks like maybe we're going to have to watch early next week. It looks like the cold air is going to relax, but there's also going to be a wet storm system moving in on Monday. So at the very least, a cold rain, but with this lingering cold that we may have after the weekend, there may be a risk of some light freezing rain in there. So we'll have to watch that. Beyond that, it does look better. It looks like we see a more sustained period of temperatures that are closer to what you expect for late January.
Closer to normal. These aren't normal, what we're seeing for sure.
Right.
Hey, I wanted to talk about Saturday night. I had gone to eat dinner in Stratford late afternoon, early evening, and I had texted the Mets in the group chat, and I said, it is snowing here, and it's covered. It's real weird. It was like really quickly coming down. And later that night, you sent this and said, lake effect snow coming off of Stockton Lake.
Yeah.
And you can see from Stockton stretching to about Stratford, there's kind of some fingers.
Yeah.
And you said it was the perfect setup on Saturday for this.
Yeah, you had a strong northwest wind, and of course that eastern arm of Stockton Lake is oriented from northwest to southeast. So you had this long run of very cold air blowing over the lake surface, and it's the same process that generates the lake effect snow over the Great Lakes. It's just sort of on a much smaller scale here locally, but Stockton Lake's not the only lake that did this. I mean, the other big lakes in our area also generated some stripes of cloudiness with at least some flurries.
Yeah.
But Stockton Lake, in this case, it generated a pretty good band of snowfall.
Had I known that was lake effect snow, I would have been taking pictures like crazy. I did not know. Here is something else that's super rare for the Ozarks. This weather phenomenon is called diamond dust, where it's snowing from a clear blue sky. And in Antarctica, they actually have it 300 days a year, 316. But it's something that I've only seen maybe once or twice. Jamie, have you seen this before?
Yeah, I've seen it before, but I mean, it's just, I mean, like you said, I mean, it's interesting. I commented to my wife on Saturday, and I was like, we talk about sun showers, and we're usually talking about rain. But this felt like a sun shower. It's just that it was,
it's a temperature inversion at the surface, and it has to be really, really cold. And one of the articles, when I was researching it, said that it's kind of like the dust you see in your house when it hits the light. And I thought, well, this is much prettier, so I'd much prefer this. So even though we've had bitterly cold temperatures, at least we got, some pretty cool weather phenomenons happening. Do want to tell you that we have school closings already, quite a few actually. When you go to our website, notice that there's some that are actually just for today, so you want to take note of the date, but quite a few already coming in. And with the bitterly cold temperatures, I expect we're going to see more continuing to come in overnight, because it's dangerously cold. It's all there is to it.
There's that, and a lot of times it doesn't take much snow for some of these rural areas, these rural school districts, especially here in southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, where it's hilly too. I mean, we could be in a situation where there are going to be some school districts, and I would, especially in northern Arkansas,
maybe all week,
that probably don't go back to school until next week.
Yeah, you got a good point. Okay, well, thanks. We do want to mention we are preempted on Color 10 tonight.
Yes, 5 and 6.
5 and 6, so you can catch Jamie tonight at 10 on Color 10, but we will have our Fox 49 shows at 6:30.
We're going to try.
We're going to try. 6:30 might be preempted because of bowling, so good luck. Okay, thanks, Jamie. You can always check out our website, ozarksfirst.com. We'll see you back here tomorrow.